Hello and welcome to my Jujutsu Kaisen reaction/review, so please do like and subscribe if you like this video. And to start off with, I will say that I've only read the manga and haven't caught up to the anime, and in the manga I have caught up to the end of the Shibuya Arc, so I do have a full grasp on the situation of the show as a whole. And in this reaction/review I'll be going arc by arc and giving my thoughts on them. To start off with, we have the first arc, which is the introduction arc. This arc's only 4 chapters long and it gives us a first glimpse at what seems to be our main cast. You have Yuji, Megumin, Nobara and Gojo. The typical squad of 4 with the 3 students and the teacher, as you've seen in Naruto and other shonens before. This arc did a just job in introducing the aspects of curses and how to fight them, and that curses are a force to be reckoned with, as we see from Sukuna. The fact we get to see how strong Sukuna is compared to the other curses that they've happened upon really impacts your glimpse at what the main villain will be. As well as this, I thought the strong point of this start is the concept, and the fact that you have the protagonist in the same body as your antagonist, which is fairly unique from what I've seen. I haven't seen anything do anything similar to that, but overall I didn't find this arc to be that good, mostly due to Yuji's character, as I didn't particularly think he was really interesting. He was just uniquely strong and a typical happy guy who wants to just help out, I guess. And as well as this, his motivations to be a sorcerer or shaman is a bit lackluster for me, but in hindsight, after reading up to where I am, I do like it more, but initially I did think this was a pretty bad introduction. Now moving on to the Cursed Womb arc. This arc was a lot more power explanation and showing off what the main powers of the show are. Considering it's such an early arc, I can understand this, and I really do enjoy the concept of curses and domains in particular are pretty cool. The fact that you've got to set up a curtain to use certain powers, it's all very unique, and I do think it's definitely a unique power system. And if you want to learn more about power systems, go check out the Broken Ronin, who makes great videos on Jujutsu Kaisen. But overall, my view on this arc, it was pretty good actually. It was decent. It was the fact that we get to see a true gauge on how powerful the curses will be in this story, and even though Yuji is supposedly very naturally talented and can supposedly control Sukuna, it won't be an easy journey for him, which I like. It's a good aspect to see in your show that the main character will have to try hard, and that Yuji starts with a loss, so he doesn't get overconfident later, and also will lead into a classic training arc. But overall, I thought this arc showed me that the story had some potential to get better, and that the potential was that this show could be something great. However, it was followed by something terrible. Not terrible, it's by something pretty bad. The next arc is the Cursed Training arc, and in this arc we get introduced to all the other sorcerers, which is fine, and we get introduced to the villains of the story so far. But overall, this arc is pretty boring. I didn't really enjoy any of the training. The training methods were pretty dull and didn't really get me excited at all. It's a shonen manga, you're meant to be active, it's meant to be interesting and in intrigue all the time, but it was pretty mundane and I didn't really enjoy it. The only part I did enjoy was Gojo and him showing off his power. So overall, it's an alright arc, didn't really grab my attention. However, for the next arc, they really stepped it up a notch. The next arc is the Vs.Mahito Arc, and this might be the first arc that I'd say was actually interesting. It leads to, one, an introduction of a great character called Nanami, who, if you know the story, will probably agree that he is a great character. And as well as this, in the arc we get to see the mental state of being bullied and how being bullied affects someone, a normal human being, mentally, which is always a great aspect that I enjoy. And this is shown through Junpei, and the fact that he is willing to talk to someone such as Mahito, who is a known killer. It really shows how depressed he is, even though I don't fully agree with the decision to have him talk so easily to Mahito, but I'm willing to overlook it. And as well as this, I really enjoyed the confliction of morals within the story in Yuji. The fact that we get the opposition of him versus Mahito in their morals and in their beliefs, that Yuji wants to help everyone and wants to make everyone happy, your typical shonen guy, and then you've got Mahito who wants to be free and wants to do what he wants, mess with the soul, mess with humans, have fun. These conflicting morals and ideas is really interesting in this arc, and I get to see some real character growth from Yuji, which is something I always enjoy in a story. I enjoy seeing progression in a character. So overall, I might say that this arc is probably my third favourite arc overall. For the next arc, we have the Kyoto Goodwill Arc. Now, this is an arc filled with good action, good backstories, and we get to see Yuji reunited with his friends, which I did think was pretty funny. But, and of course, we get to see a classic baseball match, which I'm not a very big fan of baseball altogether, and therefore I'm not a very big fan of baseball matches, episodes that are just randomly there. However, I'm willing to let it go because there were some funny moments overall, but I didn't really have much to say about this arc other than it was pretty decent. I had a fun time, just wasn't particularly stand out to me. This arc then led us to another decent arc known as the Death Painting Arc. This arc didn't stand out that much other than the growth of Megumi that we see, and we get to see a bit of his past and how he's turned out to be the guy he is today. But overall for this arc was decent. We get to see Yuji and Nobara talk about killing flesh and blood beings, and we get to see her point of view of saying how it comes with the job, the fact that you will have evil sorcerers and curse users. So it was a really nice standout point for Nobara at this part. At this point in the story, I wasn't particularly gripped. I was thinking it's a good story, I wouldn't mind carrying on, but overall, it wasn't as great as I'd heard. However, we were then given the Gojo Past Arc, and although it came abruptly, but it was welcome, because this arc, even though it was only 14 chapters, was a damn good arc, especially leading up to the next one. And in these 14 chapters we learn about why Gojo is so powerful for one, and we get to learn about how he is towards his enemies, because we've seen him be very, very friendly and chirpy with his friends and family in the sense. Against his enemies he is ruthless, which I'm glad to see. We get to see a different side to him. But overall, I did enjoy more the turn of Geto from friend to villain, and the fact that his view of the world changed within this arc, all because of one innocent girl who just wanted to live, and he got to see the true dark side of the world, of humanity, which is always a big story arc that I like to see. I like to see humanity shown at its worst, because it's true, humanity is disgusting, and the fact that Geto changes his values because he sees this and becomes evil. As well as this, the fact that Megumin's dad is an absolute badass was amazing, which overall made this a pretty great arc. Now last but not least, we have the Shibuya Arc, and this arc ruined the season for me. Ruined the manga, because now I've just got to stop reading, because this arc was genius, and it's definitely at least a 9 out of 10 arc, maybe 10 out of 10. I'll have to read it again, as this is my initial reaction and review. However, the only thing I'm going to say about this arc is that it was so good, it sometimes gave me chills in moments, and in that way it reminds me slightly of a One Piece arc. Not in the way it's formed and the progression of the arc, but just the overall feeling I got from it made me feel like I was reading a One Piece arc, which was amazing. So I do enjoy Jujutsu Kaisen. It's a solid story from now, hopefully only getting better and better. So thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and I will maybe come out with another Jujutsu Kaisen video sometime, but overall I'll see you for my next review and some other videos if you're willing, and goodbye.